What's up, my dudes? We got the 2023 RedBud track for MX vs. ATV Legends. First of all, if you guys notice, the starting line area is in a completely different spot than it was last year. It's kind of like the old new spot, you know what I'm saying? So this is where they kind of had the starting line back before, like the past few years, where they had it way over in this area where it actually went like straight. So big shout out to MX vs. ATV for actually having that updated start line area. That's really cool to see. I know on the MX Simulator 2023 RedBud RF track, they didn't have it in the right spot for the new track. Like, they didn't actually have it updated. They still had the start line, like where you would start from over here and go straight. So that's just a really nice touch to see on these 2023 tracks, you know. That's kind of like the whole point, is to have the proper newest layouts for it, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, major shout out to them for having that. And they also have the new updated layout around Larocco's Leap area. I'll show that to you here in just a second. But yeah, I really like the little spots on this track that look kind of like it's been watered a little bit. I think that's kind of sick. I didn't really notice that as much on the other tracks. So that's pretty cool to see on this one right here. But it's definitely got some pre-made ruts on it where you can carry the speed around for show. Bro, got that RedBud, brothers. Oh, Spency boy. You got to be able to... Bro, I need to put me in the Alpine Star Medical Unit, bro. I almost landed in the back of the, in the back of the thing, dude. Oh, my God, dude. Just take me in, bro. Just take me in, bro. Fucking ruptured Achilles, bro. Shit, bro. Take me in, dog. So, anyways, we're just taking a look at it. Yeah, you definitely got to know what you're doing on these kind of tracks, because if not, you'll slide right out of the ruts, you know? Like, you got to get right into them. Okay, here, look, got Larocco's Leap. Am I going to make it? Whoa, Spency, whoa! Okay, so if you hit Larocco's from the inside, you're definitely going to have to clutch boost it. That's cool. I like that. I like that it's got a little bit of skill to it, you know what I'm saying? I hate whenever they make like some of the bigger jumps not that skilled. Obviously, if you go outside on a 450, it's not going to be that hard to hit at all. But trying to like slow down and bounce up over that roughness to hit that inside, and then still be able to hit Larocco's, that's where it gets a little more challenging. So one thing to keep in mind about these tracks is they just came out with an update that actually further updated some of their other 2023 Pro Motocross tracks to make them more like the actual real-life tracks were. Okay, so just because they come out with these tracks in a certain kind of way doesn't mean that they're just going to stay that way forever. So I think MX vs. ATV is really trying to stay on the ball with updating these different Pro Motocross tracks to really give you as accurate of a real-life design as they possibly could. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. I know they just did some updates, I think, to like maybe, what was it, Thunder Valley and like one of the other ones, I think, after they came out. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. All right, let's see if we can do it. Oh, it's so tricky, bro. I like having to slow all the way down. Clutch boost, brothers. Got to get that clutch boost. Yo, Spency boy. Oh, my goodness. Got to get that clutch boost, bro. Got to get that little bit of preload clutch boost, dog. If you can hit all that just right, you can definitely hit it from the inside there. But let's see what we got here. But yeah, it's got these little, almost like it's, you know, kind of little bit of water on the track, like the dude got a little excited with the water in the track. Y'all boys know, if you've rode any real life moto before, them damn water boys, they like to get excited in certain parts on the track. You know what I'm saying? And they like to spray you when you go by, bro. Oh, man. But yeah, if you go way out here, obviously Larocco's ain't shit when you go out there like that, you know. But trying to hit it from the inside, that's when she gets a little more challenging. But You can definitely get to scrubbing. So there is some different line options and stuff. I will say this, I don't really know if this is like a physics thing or a track design thing or I don't know exactly what it is, but there's certain parts of this track where it almost feels like the section that you're on is not stretched out enough. You know, I feel like it's pretty decent, like as far as how wide the track is in most parts of it, and some parts are even okay, like how long the section is, but like especially right around like the Laraco's Leap area, and then the section right after that. I think that those are two spots, and like this jump right here, coming up a little short on it, but I don't know, it's got like this weird feeling like you're not actually on a motocross track to me, you know? Like there's not enough space in between from where you're coming out of the corner to where you're hitting like the particular jump or whatever it is, or like that roller section. You know, it's supposed to be like a roller section in that spot after Laraco's Leap, but it really just turns into like a supercross jump section because of how short it is. You know what I mean? And a lot of the jumps, you'll find yourself like, if you don't scrub the absolute shit out of them, you're going to find yourself way over jumping, like massively over jumping, bro. You know what I mean? But like in particular, like even this right here, you know, like this jump right here, I mean, you got to let off crazy amounts. And even if you go all the way on the outside and you hit this, like those just don't feel like rollers. They just don't feel like motocross rollers. A lot of this track actually feels more like a supercross track, believe it or not, because it's not like you're holding the gas down and carrying the speed all the way around and up to a jump face. You know, if you don't have enough distance, you got to have that raw amount of distance from the corner and whatever kind of section, even if it's just like a straightaway, like not a jump or anything like that, for it to feel like a real motocross track in an arcade dirt bike game. You got to have quite a bit of distance between the corner and whatever you're hitting. Otherwise, like this section right here literally feels like a supercross like rhythm section or something. That doesn't really feel like motocross to me, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something to keep in mind. Bro, Swinty Boy showing you all them new crash animations. You know what it is, dog. Legends has definitely got a different feel to it now. I think it does feel better in some ways, but some could certainly say it feels worse in some ways now than it did before. That's just kind of the nature of any time you really update the physics to a game. Some things will get better, some things will change and maybe get a little worse. But I still think they're going to continue to improve on that and change that. Scrubbing it, bro. So, yeah, let's hit that mid right here. Whoa. See how tight that arcs right there, that corner? That just feels too tight to me. I don't know. For like an arcade dirt bike game, that just seems a little bit on the trying to be a little bit too one-to-one scaling, trying to be a little bit too, you know, like realistic, quote unquote, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? And like the finish line, RedBud's finish line, I feel like has always been kind of small, but it feels kind of like about the same size as some of the other jumps that should have felt a lot bigger, you know? So I think I don't know, like some of their scaling to jump size seems a little bit off to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like I said, some of that is like physics, some of it's just kind of, you know, Legends still has a little bit of that all-out kind of bouncy effect to it. So that, I think, affects it a little bit, you know? But yeah, but it's tricky, you know? I mean, let's get in first person here. We'll do a couple laps in that. It's always tricky when you're trying to do like replica tracks, you know, and you're trying to make different variations of them, like different years of them. That always seems to be real tricky for these different motocross companies because they're trying to make everything fit together. You know, sometimes it's like hard to just magically make like one section feel better or bigger because you still got to make the whole track fit together and included with all of the off-track objects and everything like that. You know, it is a challenge to get all that to fit in there right, you know. Whoops. But see how it just, I don't know, that's more like a supercross corner to me than it is like a sweeping motocross corner, you know. I don't know. I just think there's something to that. Like, they're not making the motocross feel enough like wide open. I mean, just think about reflex, you know, and that's what we're talking about here. This is not no simulator. This is an arcade dirt bike game, okay? And this is nothing like the scaling that you would have had on like reflex stock tracks. It is nothing like that. And that was perfectly fine. That was great for arcade dirt bike games. And even if you want to talk about like the, you know, the custom pro motocross tracks that were made for reflex, this is also nothing like that either. You know, this is kind of its own little smaller scaling, trying to be like realistic, but it's an arcade dirt bike game type, you know what I'm saying? I just think it would benefit them a lot more to sweep these corners out a little bit, man. Make, like, this whole section right here should have been elongated more. There should have been more distance between that corner to that, like, little wall jump and those rollers and then that triple. All of that should have had tree, brother. Really, like Travis was trying to backflip off the tree. But you know what I'm saying. It's just, it's a little too small for its own good when you're talking about a motocross track. I just think it would make it feel more like a motocross track if you made it a little bit bigger. And that was my biggest gripe about a lot of the 2022 pro motocross tracks in this game, was they just felt a little small, and the fact that that's a big thing they've improved on with these, let's try it, LaRocco, what's up, bro, up in the stands? But, yeah, I just think everything feels a little better on motocross and arcade dirt bike games when you expand it a little bit, you know? Like, this right here is just so, I don't know, man. Very, very tight. Very tight. But I certainly don't think this is the worst one they've made this year. But I do think, you know, they've improved on the element of making more pre-made from last year. That's definitely true. The tracks, the Pro Motocross DLC tracks from last year, you know, the ruts and stuff were a lot more smoothed off, a lot more rolled off. So they have improved on certain elements, but I still don't think they've just totally got it nailed down, you know, for what it should be in an arcade dirt bike game. I still don't believe that. And I'm hitting the outside ruts. I can't even imagine if you're hitting like the inside ruts. I'm hitting majority outside ruts here, and it still feels kind of more of that smaller, tighter. Again, that has never worked in any dirt bike game ever. It's not going to change now. That's a big problem they have with a lot of the MX bikes tracks. They're too fucking narrow. They're too one-to-one scaling. It's a big problem that RF had with a lot of their tracks on MX Simulator the past few years. Just telling you, the proof is in the pudding on that, dog. I don't know how many more examples you need of it or whatever, but the one-to-one scaling and not big enough pre-made seems to be the biggest problem I have seen in moto gaming. It don't matter if you're talking about MX Sim, MX Bikes, Reflex, Legends. It really don't matter which one you're talking about. That is the biggest problem I've seen the past few years, like probably like the past 5 years. That's the biggest thing I've seen that hurts these different tracks. If they don't have big enough pre-made, like ruts and roughness and braking bumps and all that, and they try to make the tracks too one-to-one, quote-unquote, realistic scaling. You know, it's like, oh, let's just try to make this look like the real-life track, not really actually play as good as it could play in a video game. You see what I'm saying? That seems to be the biggest problem I have seen with tracks in all these different games over the past, 5, 6, 7 years. Reflex already showed you how to do it. I mean, the The blueprint's already there. You know, you don't need to try to change something. You don't need to try to fix something that wasn't broken.